What's going on, guys? It's Danny from Slow Restoration, and obviously we have the Camaro back up on the lift here. I actually had to go back and look at the last video I put of this up to see where we stopped as far as updates and stuff like that. So it's been a little while since we did any updates on this car. We did get some stuff done. We got a lot of parts in, and it's going to be older footage and some footage of me like moving the car over and getting it out of its parking spot, which is where the truck is now, and over here on the lift. So yeah, it'll be older footage and just getting caught up, but it's still progress. We still did some stuff, and the car's up on the lift now. I think I already said this as I was moving the car over, but it's going to actually get finished as far as we are going to take it before it moves off the lift this time. So from here, it's actually going to go, Chris is going to take it back home and finish up the last detail stuff himself, and whatever we don't get done in a certain time frame, he's going to take care of himself. So we've gotten a lot accomplished on this car. If you need to go back and check it out, we did a complete floor, one-piece floor, frame rails, trunk floor drop-offs, tail pan, inner structure. We did a firewall, and we painted a lot of stuff. We got the motor and trans, all that installed. We're actually working on the exhaust right now, and part of the catching up, I know I already peaked, is part of the exhaust system. So getting some of the parts in and making some of the parts, and we're just now getting back on that, but enjoy. We got it up on the dollies. Now we can pull it out of its parking spot there and spin it around right into this bay. Now it might sound silly to say that the coronavirus held up a project like this, but this steering column, for instance, it took us, I don't even know how long it took us to get that. Way too long to get that. At least a month after it was ordered, maybe even longer, and things just got held up. So anyway, we should be back on track now. Things seem to be coming in a lot faster. We did do quite a bit to this car, not like major tons of stuff, but picking away at a bunch of the small stuff, got a lot of parts in, and we'll get you caught back up on that as we go. But it didn't just sit here the whole time. We did do a little bit here and there on it. And just like that, we got the Camaro moved over there on the lift. Not on the lift yet, but in the lift bay, getting ready to put it up. First thing we need to do before we put it up, though, is clean all the parts. Like I said, we've been collecting parts and doing some to it as it's kind of been backburnered a tiny bit here. But now, again, we're going to jump on this, and we're going to stay on this until this car leaves. It's not going to be 100% done. We weren't ever going to paint it. It's going to be running, driving. Chris is actually going to take it, finish some of the smaller stuff himself, and drive the car, work out all the bugs, and then this car will come back apart in probably a year, maybe 2 years, and then be painted. In the meantime, he's just going to it's got, it looks fine the way it is. We'll put the glass back in, put the front clip back on, stuff like that. And like I said, he'll work all the bugs out. It's a completely new build, new motor, new trans, new rear, new suspension. So chances are there's going to be something that pops up. Now, talking about this steering column, I did mention it, but we did get a brand new remanufactured, that sounds weird, but a remanufactured original 69 tilt wheel. So they're not cheap. They're kind of hard to come by. But we got one. It's in that box. It looks beautiful. So this car will also have a completely rebuilt tilt wheel in it. One of the nice things about having it on the dollies is it makes much more room to get the lift under it, and also having those Hotchkiss subframe connectors, they're solid. We can put our lift right on those and not go anywhere. And of course in the front, we just go right to the subframe itself. There we have the Camaro back up in the air. And if you forgot or you haven't seen this car yet, Look how beautiful this thing is underneath. We did a complete replacement, sheet metal replacement as far as underneath. We did a, let's start from the front and go right on back. So we did a firewall. Kind of hard to see from this angle, but we did do a firewall, smoothed out, heater delete, because it's running vintage air. We did a one-piece floor. There you can see the firewall. We did paint that gloss black. We did a one-piece floor. So from rocker to rocker, all the way back is new. We did a one-piece trunk floor. We did new frame rails, and we also did mini tubs. And then we coated it with the Raptor liner. We did the tinted like a gray silver underneath in the center, and then in the wheel wells we did blacked all that out. And then we actually, all that sheet metal is new, but it is coated now and protected. We did trunk floor drop-offs also, so all this is new. Inner tail pan, and we did do a tail pan also. So all that's new. It already had GM quarters on it, so we saved them. It does have a SpeedTech rear suspension. All that's brand new. It's got the torque arm, SpeedTech torque arm suspension, the Viking coilover shocks, Willwood disc brake all the way around it. Up front it is a stock subframe, but it does have kind of, can't remember what control arms these are. They're not SpeedTech, they're another companies, but they are nice. It's got BMR sway bar. It does have a 496 big block with a March pulley set up on it. So again, it's a very, very nice car. It's Hooker Super Comp headers, and what we're getting ready to tackle right now is actually an exhaust system for this car. We got some pieces made already. We got some pieces here. We just got to start mocking it up, cutting, fitting, and welding. We did get the GMC all washed up today and back in, it kind of in the place of where the Camaro was. And just a real quick walk around here. I had a couple guys look at this and they say in video it does not look near as tall as it is in real life. So maybe this will be a kind of a good comparison. Here's a stock Model A, and they're pretty tall, and this thing just towers over it. The mirror is actually as tall as the Model A. So it's a 6-inch lift, bulletproof lift kit, and now it does have 37s on it with the fuel throttle wheels. Don't know exactly what we're doing there yet, but that's the way it sits right now. So I think it looks pretty killer. It looks really good in the sunlight, especially cleaned up. This 3M gloss light green has like a yellowish orange tint to it, especially when the sun hits it, and it looks pretty killer. We do still have to finish wrapping the flares. Excuse me. We did have that front one done, and the front bumper cover we need to wrap too. So we got a few more things to do to it, but it's cleaned up, back in the garage. All right guys, what I'm doing now is I want to make a set of collectors. The flanges are pretty decent on these Hooker Super Comp headers, but I want something a little thicker to go on this side of it, and I just flashed what I'm doing there. But so I'm making a template so I can make collector flanges made, and held a piece up there and kind of creased it on the outside, and took a pair of scissors and trimmed it out, as you can see. I don't know if you can see that. Yeah, you can see it there. So I held it up there and again pressed on the inside to make that indent for the inside of the tube, and you can see that there. So now to cut that out, I'm just going to kind of fold this and make a slice, and then use my scissors to cut that opening out. So let's actually show it this way. So obviously I have that piece cut out to the shape of the header on the outside of it. We got some small vice grips lightly clamped on so this doesn't keep sliding around. And now you can actually press with your finger and it'll make an indent. Let me gently go around. You can actually see that now. Each one of the bolt holes will do that on these other two. Now watch when you're doing it, it doesn't crease or move on you, and then your template's going to be wrong. But if you kind of press, so you're pulling instead of pushing, and not too hard. I mean, these vice grips are lightly clamped on here. So this is just, you know, a trick for fab work. You need templates, you need measurements. So instead of taking our calipers and measuring this all out and drawing a in-depth blueprint of it, we're just gonna use this. So we're going to, again, go around gently. Sometimes you gotta, it does help with two hands. And we're gonna make sure that crease on the inside is good. Like I said though, we're going from 3.5 to 3 inch. So we're gonna offset that in that hole a little bit. So our 3 inch will kind of lay right in here and have a little bit of an empty space up top here. I'll end up with a really nice set of collectors, as thick as we want them, really. Like I said, I might go either 3/8 or 1/2 inch, just so it's a nice, snug, firm clamping. And we'll get some nice, probably copper gaskets for that and seal that up nice. I would rather put V-bands on here, but since these headers are already coated and Chris spent a lot of money having these coated, I think we're, instead of, if I put V-bands, we'll have to cut it, we'll have to grind this coating back, weld it, and then it's always gonna rust there. Even though, you know, you can put high temp paint on, but this coating is really good. It's jet hot coated, so it's a very durable, nice coating. So we're gonna try and just work with that. So we got a mark on there. I took a scrap piece of 3 inch stainless pipe here, held it up where I want it on there, and just took a Sharpie, drew around it. All right, so we got that all cut out. As you can see, I think you can see it is oblong, so the hole is not in the center of that bolt pattern, and that is what we wanted. Our pipe does fit through that hole now. It's a nice tight fit, and we can clean it up if we need to. But now we have a nice template that lines up, follows the outside contour, and the nice thing is we can bring it over, rotate it a little bit, and it works for this side too. All right, so we also need a trans mount spacer. Yeah, it just needs to be spaced down. I think that we showed that in one of the videos, but we're gonna get a 5/8 spacer, the kind of that shape there, and two bolt holes in it. We could do a third. It is threaded for 3, but I think 2 is more than sufficient. So we'll get 2 holes popped in it, about the size of that cutout there, and 5/8 of an inch thick, and we'll be golden. We'll get 2 of these collectors plates made, and we're off to the machine shop. All right, we're pulling into our local machine shop here, and something you may not know, it's kind of funny, is it's actually Amish owned and run. So yeah, it's a Amish machine shop. They call it a welding shop actually. I got some equipment here, some big giant rolls for forming metal. They're massive. Everything you have here is massive. Big giant shears. They got gas lights. Big giant lathes. Everything here is just massive, and look at this press. That's an impressive press. Pulling back into our welding shop here. We're gonna pick up our plates. There's Amishman right there. Huh. All right guys, we're back from the welding shop. We got our spacer for the transmission, and we got our flanges. They're nice and thick. We'll get those mocked up, welded on. Yeah, these should not warp. So there you got it guys. We might have some older footage too. We still have to get caught up on, but the COVID-19 did affect even our small shop here. So, and this car build in itself. So it is what it is. We're back on it now. It's gonna get finished up, and stay tuned. Thanks for stopping by. Have a good day.